crafty friends and followers. I'm super excited to be back in the she shed tonight, creating and crafting with you. As you've known, if you follow my TikTok or my Instagram, I've been somewhat of a ghost for the past few months. I have had a lot of life changes, and perhaps we will talk about that in another video, but tonight is all about the crafting. So let's jump into today's craft. First thing I did is I was able to run to the Dollar Tree and I picked up 3 of these houses. They are chalkboard houses for $1.25. I could not believe the deal that I was getting. And in order to do the sign, like I showed you in the previous slide, I needed some type of house form. I could have made the house forms, but I'm a very busy mom, and this is a quick craft for me and for anyone to be able to do and still have fun and enjoy what you're doing. So the first thing I did was I removed the stickers off of the back of the house forms, just so that I could have a more finished look on the back side. And I used my Cricut blade tool, I don't know, scraper tool, whatever you call this, and it got them off really easily. If you struggle, and you're doing this along with me, if you struggle to get the stickers off the back, you can use a little heat and some hot water to get them off, but I wouldn't go crazy on the hot water because you might damage the actual particle board. This is not real wood, so you might actually damage the particle board. Next, I went into my stash and I pulled out this wood plank for how I want these little houses to sit on my shelf. I thought this would be perfect. I do not have a ton of room down where I'm putting this, so I'm not gonna make the full 5 houses. You absolutely could make the full 5 houses, but I'm going to combine a few of the houses into one, as you will see in the next few clips. So after I selected my light brown, there's a white and a light brown as you saw in the previous clip. For the middle house, I am creating the house with the windows that's in the picture. You can go back and slow it down. I'm creating the house number sign using a popsicle stick, a large craft stick, I should say. A large craft stick, I think I got them at Home Depot, they're pretty cheap. And I cut it down to 3 inches, and I'm gonna actually use my scissors because they're thin enough to use my scissors to outline the shape of the house sign, and then I'll go and cut it down with my scissors. Off camera, I did a quick coat of paint. You can see it's not perfect, that's okay. I did green because I wanted a little bit color in my sign. I will go in and distress this because this green is a little harsh for my liking. And I will show that to you and how that turns out a little bit later. But now I'm gonna jump onto my Cricut to cut out the saying and cut out the letters for this little guy. I jumped into my Cricut stash and I pulled out a piece of scrap paper, scrap vinyl. If you are a Cricketer, the great thing about these types of projects is that you can actually just jump into your leftover vinyl stash and pull out a piece of the color that you want and use it for these small projects, because you don't need full sheets. I mean, if you have them, great, but if you want to be like more conservative, you can do it this way. So I'm going to use this one full white sheet to do the welcome to our home lettering and to do the number lettering for our house number. Lettering for our house number. I'm using the Cricut Explorer 3. This is my favorite machines. As you can see, one day I will do a shed tour. But as you can see, I have all of the machines, and the joy is over there. This is the Cricut Explorer 3. I have the Cricut Maker, the Cricut Maker 3, and then the original OG Cricut is over there. I was using that for a while when my Cricut Explorer 3 was under the weather, but this is absolutely my favorite machine. So if you're a Cricut crafter and you want to go get a Cricut, or you want to be a Cricut crafter or something, this, I highly suggest it. It's my favorite one. So the first thing I do is I open my Cricut app and I select the text that I want to use. Then I type in the text and move it around my Cricut Design Space screen until I'm happy with the placement. I resize the numbers until I am happy with the size of the numbers. You can really customize this to your liking. You can use any font. Then I continue by adding the words in Design Space. I choose the font that I like. I select the size that I think is best for this project, and then I go ahead and follow through the cutting steps. You can really customize this step to any way that you choose. That's the beauty about being creative. You can really use the Cricut to your advantage. I personally love using the Cricut. I think it's fast, quick, and you get a consistent result every time. You can, if you don't have a Cricut for this step, you can hand draw on your lettering. I don't love my handwriting that much. I am getting more used to it, but yeah, so once you finish this, you're going to click make it. After you make it, you are going to go ahead and follow through the prompt to add what material you're going to use, and then you're going to let the machine cut it as you saw. So for this clip, you'll see me distressing that little green door hanger sign with just a little bit of white paint to give it a rustic edge. I like all of my home decor to be very rustic and farmhouse. Now that my projects are cut and weeded, in this clip I will show you that I use transfer tape to remove the design off the backer so that I can prepare it to be added to my project. This is the type of transfer tape that I use. I find Cricut transfer tape to be very frustrating, so I highly recommend getting this one off of Amazon. I love everything and all things Cricut, but for this project in particular, and for all Cricut projects that I use, I love this brand. And this is how the little door hanger sign turned out. Overall, I'm very happy with the completed project. The numbers are nice and readable, and I think it'll look great as you enter my doorway. So as you'll see here, I actually changed my direction for this sign. I ended up adding a wreath, and you will see that later in the video. I thought that it needed a little extra something, but this is the progress on the Home Sweet Home part of the sign. So this is an image of that wreath that I added. I love the dimension that it gives to this project. I went ahead and also distressed adding some brown. I wanted to just darken it, mud it up a little bit. Now I'm going to add this green plaid ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree for a little bow, and this house will be complete. So now we're starting the second part of the sign. This is the second little house that I got. I ended up going with a simple design that you'll see here in Design Space. You'll notice that I did make a mistake. Now that I have a new baby, we are no longer a party of 5, we're a party of 6. So I went ahead and corrected that. This part of the house sign was fairly simple. We just added the design that we preferred into Design Space, edited and followed the prompts to cut, just as you saw earlier with the Home Sweet Home sign. If you need this slowed down, please let me know. I will walk through my vinyl process in detail, but there are lots of videos out on YouTube where you can find those step-by-step videos. view of the sign after I had corrected the party of 5 and changed it to party of 6. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a few embellishments to this project. I ended up cutting a bead off of a hanger from a sign that I got, adding a jute bow, and distressing the outside of the house just so that it would match all of the other houses in the sign. You will see in this next clip where I added the embellishments, and I think this one turned out pretty good. I really love it. I love how simplistic it was, easy it was to make, and of course, as always, very affordable. So this is the third and final house. I wanted to make this house pretty simple, but also get the message across that this whole sign portrays that it is about my family. So first we added this chalkboard heart that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I wanted to cover up that hole you see in the middle there with a little something. So I went with a jute bow that you will see later in the clips. And then I hopped on to my Cricut design space and I started cutting out the names for this project. So you will see, well, this part of this project. So you will see that I add all of my family members' names. I resize them as I showed you how to resize lettering earlier on in the video. I position these names where I would like them to go. And then I also used a feature of Design Space that I really enjoy when I'm using scrap vinyl. And that's what I used for this project. I wanted it to be very resourceful and cost effective. So I actually used Snap Mat, and I was able to use a tiny scrap of vinyl in order to cut and print these letters and names out. I really love how they turned out, and you will see how the house turned out at the end of the video, but they just add such a statement to this sign. I really enjoyed it. So if you need this process slowed down, I am more than happy to help you slow down and walk through this process. But again, there are tons of content creators out there that do Cricut in detail. So here is the final look of this third house. I absolutely loved how it turned out. I didn't want to just stagger them straight. I wanted them to look kind of knit together as our family is blended. And here is all three houses together. I really enjoyed making this craft. It was so much fun. I added some other embellishments to just make it look finished. I added some rope, nautical rope that I also got from the Dollar Tree to the bottom of this, and I am absolutely in love. I love how this turned out. The inspiration pick is exactly, it's not exact, but it really is my style and my twist on it, and that's the most amazing thing about crafting is you can make things your own, and you can also make them for less. Thanks for watching this DIY. Let me know what you think. Do you like my version? Is there something that you would have done differently? And please, if you make this, show me what you've made. Okay, jumping right into DIY number 2, a quick sublimation tumbler. This is my first full sleeve sublimation tumbler, and I am super excited to bring this to you. So first thing I did was I unboxed my tumbler. I got these tumblers on Amazon. I think the 4-pack was $25. I went over to my press and my mug and tumbler press, which I was also gifted off of Amazon, and my Epson sublimation printer. This is not a real sublimation printer. This is a converted sublimation printer, and there are lots of videos out there that show you how to do this. I was lucky enough to be gifted both of these items, so for that I am so grateful.
First wrap.
complete wrap, so it is absolutely
I wrapped my tumbler after I printed my design, and I used some heat tape and took it over to the mug press, waited for my mug press to heat up, my mug and tumbler press to heat up, and then once it was heated up, once it was heated up, sorry guys, it's getting late. Once it was heated up, I took the tumbler, and I put it inside the press, and this is the final reveal. This is a gift for somebody. It is their bowling team, and I am really excited to share this little surprise gift with them. I hope you like my final results. I am super impressed with them, and I can't wait to get better at sublimation. I'm going to conclude today's video. We've got one DIY and one bonus sublimation DIY. I'm super thankful if you could join me tonight, and I can't wait to see all of your crafty creations. I hope you have a great night. Thanks for joining, and as always, stay crafty, friends. Good night.